Alright guys, it's Jake from Team Insanity doing the Proto Rail MaXXed review, and we are also going to be giving this gun away. For the giveaway details, stay tuned to the end. If you're watching this video like a few months later, sorry, you're out of luck. So a lot of people have been asking for us to do the giveaway and that sort of stuff. I have a date in mind, but like I said, stay till the end. I'm not going to give all the details at the beginning for the people who just want to see the review. So, comes in a nice case, the nice die case that they normally have, or Proto case. It just says Proto on the front. It's a nice little soft case. It definitely can compete with sort of Plain Eclipse packaging. It's not as nice as Plain Eclipse packaging, but it's some nice packaging for what you pay for. Better than Mini GS. In here you get your barrel, which by the way, it's stamped Proto. Okay, but the thing is that it's not a Proto barrel. This is a well, I mean, it is a Proto barrel, but this is the same exact thing as a die ultralight barrel. Okay, the same exact thing. This is made in the same exact room as all the ultralights. It basically the milling on the back is just a little bit different, and it's stamped Proto. That's the only difference. It's the same exact bore size. It's a 688 bore back. It's the same as all the other die ultralights that come stock on like the DMs or the NTs, that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's just a little bit difference in like milling, but the inside and I mean, it's all coated and honed and everything else. I mean, this is the same exact thing as a die ultralight barrel. If you guys know, for my standards, a die ultralight barrel is it's the best barrel on the market for me. It's better than, it's definitely better than the shaft barrels. It's quieter than the Deadly Wind barrel. It's all around just a great barrel. And for them to put it in this gun, that's a big thing, considering that they changed that. What you normally get is the lube that's up here, and I kind of had that in my gear bag, and you get the Allen wrench set that's up here too. Normally I lose all the small Allen wrenches. Nick took his and rubber band his together when he had a rail, the Reflex, which is a great idea, and I would suggest that if you want to not lose all the small ones. We have the barrel cover, which I will get to in a second. You get your nice little warranty card. You get the manual, which I'll go into in a second. And another cool thing is that you get the parts kit. So if you guys look, all of the O-rings are colored. Okay, if you don't know, the rails, all the rails and DMs and all that stuff, they come on a color-coded O-ring kit. Okay, and the reason why is that you have red O-rings, black O-rings, blue O-rings, green O-rings, orange and yellow, and all the colors of the rainbow in this bad boy. The reason why is that when you are taking apart your gun, and if you say you need to change the sail O-ring and you don't know which number the sail O-ring is, or if you want to change one of the back cap O-rings, they take the guessing out, because some of the O-rings, like the orange O-ring and the red O-ring, look exactly the same. They're just a few millimeters apart, or I guess you can say that. So they take the guessing out of it. And so if I replaced it, if I was replacing my bolt O-rings and stuff, and I accidentally replaced it with the wrong one, then I might start going around and replacing other things on the gun that doesn't need to be switched, just because I put in the wrong O-ring. So, which is really cool. Have not had to use any O-rings, so whoever wins this in the giveaway, you get that O-ring kit that's never been touched. Proto barrel, or why did I say barrel? The Proto manual, God, it's a Monday. The Proto manual definitely comes full colored, all of that. Tells you basically everything you're going to need to know. The back has a nice layout of the gun and everything in here. The only thing is that the rails board is capped to 15.15 balls a second, so 15 balls a second. They just did that because, I mean, you're not really supposed to be shooting these type of bolt designs over 20 balls a second or whatever, so it's very, very simple, and I'll go into that later. So we'll get rid of that. Now the barrel cover, whoever wins this, I'm sorry, I'm keeping the barrel cover. And this barrel cover sucks. Let me tell you, these barrel covers are absolutely garbage, but I did actually find a use for them. Okay, they're very flimsy and not that amazing, but I did find a use for them. For everyone that's been playing with me recently at indoor, you'll see that I made a Stingray barrel cover. I did not waste a good barrel cover on that. I used the crappy little die ones, and what I mean by Stingray barrel cover is that I had like a Hush Beanie Baby little Stingray toy thing, and so I cut it at its anus, and I just took this and I shoved it in there, and then I sewed it together. So now I have a really cool, and I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. So I just have a Beanie Baby as my barrel cover, and it's a legitimate barrel cover. It's just this barrel cover is inside of a stuffed animal, and you just sew it all the way around. So that's something to think about. I'm looking to buy a SpongeBob one, or you know, a dildo for DJ, which we'll get into later. That's going to be his birthday present. And then inside of here, you get the rail MaXXed. Okay. So the original rail, definitely a really good budget baller gun. This is obviously another, no question, a great budget baller gun. Now the things that they really changed was for sure definitely the barrel and the feed neck. Now you get the nice die clamping feed neck. I mean, they come with all like the die guns with all the markers that they have. Now what's really nice about it is that you see is that there's no little screw or pin or anything that you have to take and fling around or anything. So all you have to do to adjust it, you just take it and then you screw it in circles kind of thing. So yeah. There's no, like, you don't have to bust out an Allen wrench set or anything. But what I mean is, like, you just take it and twist it, and it tightens it, and take it, twist the other way, and it loosens it, kind of thing. And yeah, it works just like that. So the trigger, the trigger's not definitely not my favorite trigger. But I mean, for what you pay for, it's all right. Definitely the Mini GS trigger's a lot better, but it's not. I tried to adjust this. Like, I wanted a little bit more back travel, but I didn't really, I don't know, I just wanted more back travel, and it definitely was not happening. It was not having it, and I don't know if it's like Loctited in there, but there's a screw in the back that you can adjust and back out, so you get a lot less back travel. I have no clue. It's not having it. It does not want to come back out. Does not want to do anything like that. So I mean, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it does not want to come out. The other thing is that it's a composite grip frame. Like, it sort of feels like it's plasticky. It feels really, really cheap in the hands. Now, it's very, very strong. You're not going to break it. It definitely feels really cheap when you get it. Just the material that they made out of it, have it made out of. It's just very, very cheap. I don't like the material that it's made out of. It's very flimsy. It's just not the best. It's not the most comfortable, and it doesn't feel all that great in the hands. The die ASA, definitely another thing that's not my favorite. That's the only thing that I don't like about die that they keep on using is their ASA. A lot of people bitch at me in the comments section about it, but you can go ahead and bitch at me all you want. These are probably one of the most weird ASA. This is just one of my most unfavorite ASAs. It's definitely not a Pops. I would honestly rather have an Oops ASA, like the Oops style ASA with this design, just with like the little, you turn it and then it turns on kind of thing. Or I don't know. There's just so many better ways to do it than put this very little itty bitty lever thing here, and then you have to take it, and there's like, I don't know, then you have to turn it on. It's just weird, very, very weird. So your first time using this die ASA, I never got it right, because when you take it and turn it, it'll take the pin and you'll hear it air up, but it's not on all the way if it looks sort of like this, and then it'll just turn itself back off. Even though the gun is aired up, you'll get like maybe 2 shots out of it, and then it won't shoot anymore, because you have to take that. Normally, if you put it right there, then it's not on. You have to take it and like push it forward all the way. It's sort of a pain. I don't really like the die ASAs all that much, especially if you've been playing for a while and your hands are all oily and slippery and garbage, and it's a pain. They're definitely not my favorite. You can call me a pussy and stuff in the comments. I don't really care, considering that you have guns that comes like the E-Techs with the Oops ASAs or that kind of stuff. There could definitely be, I've seen a lot better designs than this ASA, so it's definitely just not the best ASA on the market. The other thing is that when I got this out of the box is that, God, I wish they fix the ergonomics with this thing. Really, really makes me upset. It's like you have the reg, but then it gets like really skinny up here, and it's like, I don't know what it is, but they would have just took the reg and crammed it up there, sort of like the Reflex. I mean, like, they have like the nice little hand slots and milling stuff on it, but it feels weird because it's so skinny, and then it goes fat right down here. So it definitely, like, it feels way different, like nothing like I've ever felt, and I don't like it. It's not something that I've like never felt and I like it. I don't like it. It's definitely like, it's weird. It's a pain. So it definitely took some adjusting to get used to. Normally when I'm playing, I don't feel it that often. It's not like I feel it or anything, but it's definitely like, I don't know. I don't like it that much. It's just, I don't know. The other thing that Dye has on all of their markers, for the most part, I believe, but they have something called an eye-pipe system. So this is very, very big for me, because even when I played the tournament this week, when I chopped paint in the Geo, because I was using the Geo 2.1 in the tournament, is that the paint would clog up in the eyes. And then, you know, normally, I'll show you, when you shoot with the ball, it doesn't like shoot like a normal speed. So here's what it sounds like normally. Hold on. That's what it sounds like normally, with eyes off. But if you, it only shoot like 5 balls a second, 6, 7 balls a second. So it's like that with a lot of guns. The Geo is the same way. And it's just saying that the eyes aren't cleared, and that's its way of saying clean your eyes, or there's something wrong with it. Like if you guys ever put your finger down in the breech, just try it with your gun, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you start pulling the trigger, it's just like dot 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 compared to but and it's like the 12.5 normally. So when I chopped paint in the Geo, the eyes kind of got clogged. But the thing is, with the eye pipe system, which is freaking genius, if I can get this eye pipe out of here. The thing about the eye pipe system is that if you break paint, no matter what, this will squeeze the front O-ring on the bolt, which I'll show you in the efficiency test, will squeegee this eye pipe, okay, at the same time. So your eyes that are in there will never be clogged, okay? So you can always just squeegee out your barrel, and you don't have to worry about taking off your hopper and like getting the balls out of the breech and squeegeeing out your eyes too at the same time. You won't need to do that, because the eye pipe system will squeegee it for you, and you won't have that problem if you start chopping paint in a mid-game, which is really, really nice. So if your eyes do get clogged and you're not shooting at 12.5 balls a second or whatever, I played a few games in the tournament where I was just shooting like 7 or 8 balls a second when everyone else was shooting way faster than me. I definitely held my own and I could do it, but it definitely gives the other people advantage when you're snap shooting. I pop out and I only shoot 5 balls to their 30 balls that they're sending at me. So that's really nice that I like about this. If you guys own something like any other gun, like a plain Eclipse gun or a Bob Long gun, stuff like that, that doesn't have the eye pipe system, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do now is that we don't, it's like 30, actually it's probably 25 degrees outside. Kind of got late to the efficiency test on this thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this out and do the maintenance. So we can't really do the efficiency test on it because it's too cold for it to really shoot and get its max efficiency, unfortunately. So we're going to take this thing in. We're just going to do the maintenance on it first, and I mean, we can't really do the efficiency indoors or anything because we don't have a place to do it. So we're going to just do the maintenance on it, pull it out, and do the conclusion. Alright guys, so here is the Rail MaXXed maintenance video. So you're just going to want to take your biggest Allen wrench that they give you out of the packaging. We sort of lost the one, so that whoever wins this giveaway, sorry for your loss. It's just an Allen key. But as you're taking this and unscrewing it, you're gonna kind of want to pull a little bit on the Allen wrench, and I'll show you why in a second. I mean, it's not necessary, but you're gonna want to give it sort of pulling on it at the same time in a way, because if you don't, it'll just sort of unscrew itself on the inside. Oh, almost got it. And why you want to pull a little bit on it is because if you don't, as you see, there's a few parts on this that can screw, like right here. This can unscrew. So let me just screw. I started to unscrew it a little bit, and there's just parts that unscrew as you're twisting the back cap in there. So like I just sort of did, I went a little bit full retard and didn't really pay much of attention. I was trying to tell you what to do and I wasn't doing it myself, but you kind of want to pull it a little bit, because if you don't, if you just sit there and keep on unscrewing it like I did, either this part is going to come unscrewed, or you know, you're just going to start unscrewing this, and then you're going to, which it's not bad, it's not going to hurt anything, but either that part's going to come unscrewed, or you're just going to end up unscrewing it like this, and then you'll pull this whole thing out of the back cap, but the rest of the bolt assembly will be stuck on the inside. You have to take your finger and push it through and blah 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 blah. So what you're going to want to do is on the front bolt, so obviously you're going to want to unscrew that part. You don't really need to unscrew this unless if there's some massive leaking that you have to find, or so. I've never ever had to unscrew that part. Wipe off the lube a little bit, but right here there's a blue O-ring on the bolt tip right here. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this off, because if you it's not really going to come off. I mean, you can definitely muscle it through, but the reason why you don't want to just take this and just yank it through all the way is because this O-ring will grab on the other O-rings on the inside, and it will just either take the O-rings with it, or it'll misplace them, and then you also have to take it and shove it back in, and it'll just misplace them. It can make them not O-ring-ish like how they're supposed to be, and it can damage them in the process. So what you want to do is you just kind of want to pinch the side. What that's going to do is that's going to lift the O-ring like I just did right there. You can get your finger underneath of it and do it like that, but definitely just, what I do is I just pinch it like this, almost like you're pinching a nipple, like when I do to Jacob. You're just going to want to pinch it and push forward, and so what that's going to do to the O-ring is that it's just going to slide forward like this, and then you take your one finger and you pull it off like that. If it's too lubed up and too slippery, sometimes it is for me, especially if I'm doing other maintenance on other parts of the gun, I'll use the cloth and I'll just pinch it with the cloth so my hands don't slide as much. So now don't lose this O-ring, even though there's some in the parts kit that they give you. Now, there you go. This is the whole bolt assembly, just like this. So now, if you ever experience any leaking down the barrel, for any DM, any reflex rail, and basically any rail, anything that looks like this bolt assembly, honestly, that is made by die, basically any bolt, older bolts, newer bolts, anything like that, it's going to be this red O-ring right here in the middle. It's called the sail O-ring. Okay, if you're ever experiencing some leaking, especially like down the barrel, or if it's just hissing a little bit, this is the O-ring 99.9% of the times you're going to want to replace. Okay, this O-ring gets some of the most wear on the whole entire bolt assembly, because I mean this whole thing is just rubbing on this constantly. Okay, and on the inside it's just metal in there, or I mean it's just aluminum, so that'll wear down eventually over time. So yeah, normally this is the first O-ring to normally ever go. If you you know, if it starts leaking, just replace this one. Normally that's what fixes it. When my DM, if it ever leaks, I've only had 2 leaks on it, and it's always been this O-ring. Now if it's leaking out of the back cap, if you can put your finger right there and you can hear the leak stop, and you lift it and it starts hissing again, you can feel the pressure building right here, it's going to be one of these 2 O-rings. The first thing that I'd recommend is taking them out and just putting a little bit thin lube on it. You know, definitely just wipe off the old lube, put thin amount of lube on it, and that should always stop this back cap from leaking. It's like that on all the DMs, all the reflex rails, all that sort of stuff. I had that a few times happen on the reflex rail, and I also had that just happen in indoor. I just sort of forgot to lube it, and I went back and looked, and these O-rings were, they had a little film on it, but then I put a little bit more on it and it sealed the leak perfectly fine. So definitely, if you're leaking out of the back cap, you know, just lube these two first, and then if it doesn't stop the leaking, then fix these, just change both these red ones out, or do one and then do the other one. But if not, then you might want to look at, there's an inner O-ring in here, you might want to look at this back O-ring and that sort of stuff. There's a lot of O-rings on this bad boy. It's a spool valve gun designed sort of off of the DM. Well, actually, I would say this is more designed, this is a step down from the Reflex series, so, but they tried to, obviously the DM is the big brother, the biggest brother of all of the guns. And what you're going to want to do, just take a towel, microfiber towel, any type of towel that you want to use. Obviously I'm using a white towel so it looks good on camera. And just wipe down everything. And now remember what I said is that there's inner O-rings, so don't just wipe down the outside and be like, oh, done. Nope, there's an O-ring inside of here. There's an orange one. So just make sure that you get all of this dirt and grime. Really, you shouldn't have that big of a problem with dirt and stuff getting in here, unless if you're feeding dirt through the feed neck or something, or putting dirt down the barrel or anything like that, because the reason why is, I mean, it's closed in the gun. You know, there shouldn't really be much of a way for dirt to enter, and if there is, then you're doing something wrong, like playing very, very rough in the dirt, or something's getting in your feed neck or your hopper. But yeah, I'm very OCD about cleaning the spools and making sure that they're all spick and span. Now, remember, inner O-ring in here too. There's a blue O-ring right in here. You're going to want to make sure you wipe off all that lube, and you're also going to want to remember to put lube on that bad boy. Wipe off all the other O-rings. Now, some people, I was reading on the forums, we also have a forum. Go check out our forum. It's an insane form of paintball. Go check it out. Go on to our website, link in the description, and it's like one of the first links on there. Go check out our forum. Go make an account. But people I know on PB Nation and Tech PB and stuff are posting, oh my gosh, my rail keeps on unscrewing itself. I had that problem with the Reflex rail on these threads on the outside. It would just start to slowly work its way. It would start to unscrew itself, and the reason why is because people probably, you might be caping too much lube on these threads. Okay, so with all that pressure in this bolt assembly, as you start shooting, if you have these nice and slick, I mean, if it's nice and moist, giggity, if it's really slick and sleek, then all that pressure, and as you're shooting, this bolt is going to eventually just start to unscrew itself if there's so much lube on this. And I've seen people lube this bad boy. I've seen them lube these bolt assemblies and the Reflex rail assemblies. I was one of them for sure at first, and I would also cape a bunch of lube on these threads. You don't really want to do that. You maybe put just a little fingertip on it. I'll show you what I do. But then if you do that, if you put a lot on it and you make it like too slick or too easy to break apart, then it's just gonna break in the gun. Not break, but I mean, like, the threads are just gonna, just slowly just to unscrew themselves inside the gun, and then it's just gonna cause other types of problems, velocity issues. You might, your bolt might sit farther back, so you might not, the ball might not read in the eyes. The ball might scoot back a little bit. I had that problem, and it's just all from not maintaining it right. So definitely these sort of guns, if you don't know how to maintenance it, a 2-second fix can cost you your life 30 billion times on the field. So I like to work from the outside and work in. The reason why is that it's just a lot easier, and then I won't set these down and have the O-rings rolling on. Now you see, I didn't really put much, I didn't actually put anything on the threads. I just put them on the back O-rings. Now if you're still experiencing that it's unscrewing itself, just don't lube the back O-rings. You don't actually have to, and if it starts to leak, then put some on it, but I've definitely gone without lubing these back O-rings, to be honest with you, and I've never had that much of an issue. Oh, forgot this O-ring. Also, don't forget the inner O-ring. Give that bad boy some nice lube. So yeah, you're not going to want to use too much lube. As you see how much lube I'm using for 3 O-rings right here. Lube these guns lightly, but lube them often. That's how I say with all DM-based bolt series and rail series guns, you're not going to want to cape a lot of lube on it. It's not going to do you much good, and it's not going to make it so you know, go longer without maintaining it, sort of thing. The more lube you put on it, it's really just going to hurt you more than anything. It's not like you're going to be able to lube it like 2 cases more or whatever. People are just like, oh my gosh, I put like 5 handfuls of lube on there. I put a few buckets on it so I won't have to lube it in a few months. Nah, it doesn't really work like that. So don't forget to lube these back O-rings back here. And then lube these last few O-rings, especially the sail. Make sure that there's some nice lube all over the bolt. O-rings, especially just the O-rings. And we're just going to slowly put it back together. I like to take it and work it around a little bit and see if it's dry, then I add a teeny bit more. But yeah, you really don't need a whole ton. Let it work in there. It's still sort of a new bolt. I mean, there's not really 10 cases on this thing. Whoever gets this gun is lucky. There's probably 5 cases on this bolt, so it's still. Notice I didn't lube the threads at all. You don't need to lube these threads, like I said. Now you can really go without lubing the front O-ring, but I like to give it just a little touch. Even though you don't really need to, I just give it, I mean, you probably can't even see that on camera. I just give it a little bit right behind the bolt and right on the bolt. And that's all you have to do for the maintenance of the Rail Max. So I mean, really, if you maintenance it wrong and you cape a lot of lube on it and you put lube in the wrong spaces, or you don't forget to lube in or O-rings, that kind of stuff, then obviously it's not gonna work out right. Now what I like to do is just make sure that everything's working right. Is I like to flick the bolt. This was like sort of like a trick with like the older DM series to know if you put enough lube on it, you could flick it and you could see it come out a little bit. And then you know that there's enough lube on there and that you didn't under lube it too much. So as you see, just give it a little flick. If the bolt flies out, then you're good. Then don't add any lube. Obviously, if it's not moving, you can't really do this out of the box because the O-rings have to be sort of like used. I do this with all the DM models and everything. So you can kind of tell that it's sort of, the O-rings are kind of grabbing and they're sort of fresh. But I just like to do this because it definitely lubes up the bolt a little bit. And then you know that you're ready to go. So it's all mixed up in there nice. Make sure it goes in there straight. Take your Allen key that you won't have if you win this gun. Tighten that bad boy down. Boom. That is the maintenance of the Rail Max. If you just watch this video, troubleshoot your problems with your leaks or anything else that you have. Now, I will say, this regulator, we can't get this off, and it was like that on the other rails. Dye, you need to listen to me. This macro line is most likely, I think it's the macro line. It was definitely the macro line on my rail and Nick's rail. That this macro line is so damn long, and that you can't get this off. I honestly cannot get this regulator off because of this. I think the macro line is shoved in there so far in the fittings, and then when I try to pull it out, there's just no give to this macro line at all. We heated it up. We put it by the bullet heater in the box, and we tried to still pull it out, and there's just, it gives enough, but there's so much put in there that it's just, I don't know what it is, but they're using way too much macro line. I honestly don't know how they got it all in there, but for some reason that I cannot take this macro line all the way off. I mean, I can budge it a little bit, I can feel it start to come out. We almost got it when it was heated up, but I mean, it does not want to come out. It's not going anywhere. It's sort of a bitch, and I don't know what they do But I don't know, maybe we can heat it up again or some more maybe, but this reg's not coming off until this macro line's coming off. And to be honest, maybe before we ship it out, I might just clip this and just cut it so the person that wins this, I mean, I can just pull the macro line out and then you don't have that big of a problem. But yeah, definitely don't really think about taking off your reg that often, because they definitely put some hefty macro line on there, but whatever. So now we're going to take it out. We're going to do the conclusion on this bad boy. Alright, so in conclusion, the Rail MaXXed is definitely a nice little shooter for the money that you pay for it. It's fun to use. I've used it on the speedball field. I've used it on the woods ball field at Area 51. I've used it all kinds of different places. It's a nice little gun for what you pay for the money. The barrel is really, really nice on this. I really enjoy that they put the dye ultralight on here. You're going to get the best barrel on the market for a really, really cheap price. The other thing is that the grip frame is nice and thin, so it'll be nice and comfortable. It's not like an E-Tech grip frame, the E-Tech 4 grip frame that was really fat. Fits in your hands really, really nice. The ergonomics of it. I just don't like the front ergo because, I mean, it's skinny, and then you have like the fat part of the reg, and it's just, I don't know, I don't really enjoy the reg part of it that much. That's where I kind of think that they blew it. Just the ergonomics up there is not my favorite. Even though, I mean, I definitely got used to it when I was playing, and it all went away in the hands, and it felt sort of normal in a way. But yeah, it definitely is, it kind of bugs me a little bit. It shoots smooth, definitely for what you pay. It shoots just like an older dye, like probably DM7 maybe, I would have to say. It's maybe not as smooth, but it shoots nice. It shoots really nice for the price that you pay for a spool. It's really, really nice. It shoots better than like a Dangerous Power G4 or that kind of stuff. It has definitely a different sound signature to it. It shoots nice. So yeah, that's my thoughts and feelings on it, is that it's a nice little shooter for the money. I would definitely recommend it. Now, people are always going to ask Mini GS versus Rail MaXXed. I made a video on that, so stay tuned for that video. That video should be uploaded in a few weeks, so people keep on asking that. Now, for the giveaway details, there's going to be 5 entries. There's going to be a 6th silent one that we do all the time, but there's going to be 5 entries. We're going to do the drawing right after Christmas time, okay? So this is going to be a Christmas present to one of you lucky folks out there. We like to give back, so if your parents can't afford to get you a Christmas present, hopefully this can go to some lucky kid that needs it. So if you want to register to get into the giveaway, first things first, if you're subscribed to our channel, you already get in the giveaway, okay? You don't have to do anything else. That's just the mandatory one. You have to be subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you're subscribed, your name is automatically entered in. What we do is we go through the list of subscribers and press a random code generator, and we take like 40 to 50 random names off of our big list of subscribers. And that's how, and then we put them all in a jar. The next one is that if you subscribe to the community channel, in the description below, also send us your videos. If you guys want to get sponsored on the community channel and get your link on there, send us an email. Be like, you know, hey, I give Team Insanity Paintball the rights to upload this to their YouTube community channel. Yeah, but if you want to get on it. But if you go and you subscribe to that, we're also going to do the same thing. We're going to take a random number and just take maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 people off of that list, put them in the jar, go make a name and register on the form that we have, because we have some forms and stuff. Go get active on the form that we have, sign up, and then you also get another entry. The person who actually won last time, Scooter Shooter, we pulled his name off of the form. So if you guys if you make an account on the form, remember the password and everything, so because you're gonna have to message us on the form if you win from the form. So go and register on the form and make an account and stuff. Get active. It's kind of cool. We have some cool people on there. And so yeah, that's one way. That's another entry. We have another entry where you like us on Facebook. Okay, if you like us on Facebook, we do the same exact thing. We take another random code generator. You just press random numbers, and we take those numbers, put them in a list like we do for all the other ones. And then we also have another entry on our Facebook where you share our picture. it's going to say, it's going to give you another free entry. So if you share our picture, then that we post, it's going to have like a picture of the Rail Max and it'll say win me and blah blah. It looks exactly the same as all the other ones, just it has the Rail MaXXed in there, the picture of the Rail MaXXed in there this time. And so that way you can then we can see who shared it, and then again, if like 100 people share it, maybe we'll take like 50 names off of that. So mostly everyone that shares that picture almost always gets in the giveaway 90% of the time. So yeah, those are the entries, and we always have that silent entry, which don't worry about because there's only one person that gets in it. But yeah, those are all the different entries that miss one. So you have subscribe to this one, subscribe to community, form, Facebook, and sharing our picture. Yeah, so that's 5 entries total. All you need to do is just one. But if you want all those extra entries to win, if you're desperate in need of a gun, definitely, you know, go do those other entries. And yeah, so I mean, even if you don't have a Facebook, you don't have to enter or anything. Just make a fake Facebook if you really want. You just have to be able to know the password and everything, because if you went on Facebook, we contact you on Facebook. So yeah, I hope that definitely helps you out. So good luck to everyone in the giveaways. We'll be drawing this right around, we're obviously not going to draw it at Christmas time, or like the day of Christmas. It'll probably be like 1 or 2 days after. And is the video going to get uploaded those few days after? Honestly, probably not. But believe me, by the 26th, the 27th, we're definitely going to have the winners and everything drawn. But we're going to be so busy with the holidays and everything, you know, don't spam us with all of your emails saying, oh my gosh, did I win? Because we will post a video, but we're all going to be with family like you guys. So, you know, we're normal people. We don't live just on the internet. We have families and stuff that we go visit too. So, you know, please don't spam us and say, oh my gosh, did I win? I don't really know. So yeah, this is the Rail MaXXed giveaway. Hope that, good luck to everyone. And yeah, happy balling.